Welcome to Film Sesh. My name is Corey Tulaba. I'm here with Jonathan Mogbo, San Francisco forward, center, big wing. One of the most unique prospects in the 2024 NBA draft class. So, Jonathan, I appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with me today, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
For anybody watching this who maybe hasn't seen you play before, how would you describe your game?
Very unique. Like you said, I feel like I'm one of the most unique guys in the draft. I say that because, you can put me at really a lot of spots on the court. I feel like I can contribute, from those spots. I feel like I'm very versatile offensively and defensively. Running the floor, transition, bringing the ball in transition, making plays for guys, that point forward.
It's been fun to see your development, especially over the course of the years. You kind of exploded onto the scene. I like that, you didn't wait until the last minute to commit and be all in on the draft. Like you let that announcement out a little early, and you had a great showing at the NBA Draft Combine. You played in the scrimmages, and I think we've seen over the last few years, whether it's Ben Shepherd or Jalen Williams, right? Like these guys who play in those scrimmages tend to help their standing, help their stock a little bit going forward. So did you see guys like that and, kind of want to take a similar path to them? Because some guys just sit it out, and they just want to do the measurements and all that, but you chose to play.
Yeah. I like playing basketball. I like being competitive. It's a competitive sport. So, just 5-on-5, playing to get different guys around the country, that was great. Just seeing how other guys play, how they act on the court, that all takes into matter. So I feel like, I wanted to participate. I'm an underdog myself, so I've been an underdog my whole life. So, I wanted to not to prove to people out there, but prove to myself I can compete with these different guys, these top guys, so it was a great experience for me, and I loved it.
Let's start this thing off right. Take me through this possession. Do you remember this one? You got to take me through this one because this is a legit way to open this thing.
I got you. So what we do at SF a little bit towards the end of the season, when we figure out I can really handle the ball, and make the right reads, we started getting the smaller guards to start setting the ball screens on the big. So, a switch, just miscommunications because, they got stuck. So I just read it right, be patient with it. And, my coaches always tell me, keep it simple, don't go out there trying to drag cross between the legs behind the back, just keep it simple, and make simple plays. And that's what happened.
Yeah, simple play, but really smooth. There are guys that are bigs and they can handle a little bit, right? But they can handle for a big, or they can handle for a forward. You talk about growing up as a guard. I mean, this is smooth. Like even just the way that you come off and you spin off of, the defender. And then, don't jump with me, right?
cheers.
Yeah. So, I think this shows kind of how unique your game is from an offensive standpoint. And before we get into some of the other film, I kind of want to show like what you bring as a defender too, right? Like now, you're the first guy on the court in this press, and then you're also the guy making the play at the end. So kind of take me through like, your ferocity as a defender, your agility as a defender, and how versatile you are.
Yeah. I feel like, like I said, I feel like not just offensively, just being a guard all my life, but, also translates to defense. I've guarded all the guards all my life, so I know how guards like to play on the perimeter, the IQ they have. So, I feel like my IQ translates to when I'm guarding the perimeter too. And, this possession right here is just like a wanted effort, just pushing myself. Like you said, I was the top guy at the press, and, I'm the one that got the block. So, my coaches would be on my head if I didn't get back and, let that layup happen. So, they'd be on me. The most important thing defensively was don't try to take plays off. That was probably the main thing, I was working on this year. So, just showing my ability to have motor, not just offensively, but also defensively.
The things that young players in the NBA, the things that get them on the court is not necessarily all of the flashy stuff. Sometimes it's how can you contribute in the most simple way possible. And I think, starting right away, using that fluidity, that athleticism, I love that, you're a guy that is going to run the floor and get easy buckets in transition, and here diving right to the rim. So, take me through like these transition possessions, because you can do a little bit with the ball in your hands, but then also you could serve as the big too.
Yeah, that's another thing, being versatile, not just bring the ball up or, run into the corner, but, if I feel like my defender's behind me, get that little push off and then, just go sprint down the court. We talked about it in the preseason, I can also run the rim. Like, I don't want to just be one dimensional. I want to do a lot of things. I want to do multiple things on the court, to help my team win. So I feel like, if I have to rim run and get a free point, then someone gets a free assist and I get a free point and we get 2 points. So just winning basketball.
But then you also got some pretty, nice stuff like this too. You remember that one?
Yeah, Pepperdine, or not Pepperdine, Portland.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Take me through like hit aheads. Like, this is like the ball bros stuff. Jalen Suggs. That's not an easy pass, even if it looks easy.
Mm-hmm. Our coach talked about it. Like the guy who just got the layup, 21 chips. That's what we call him. Our coach said, if I get it, he has to run. If he gets it, or if someone else gets it, I run. So, just me and him had that chemistry already, like going into games, like, yo, if I get it, I'm gonna look for you, because he's sprinting the floor and he sprints the floor hard. So, like you saw, he sprinted the floor hard, got an easy layup, and then our coach tells everyone to run the wings. So, if it's me pitching it to him or someone pitching it to one of the guards up on the wing, it's gonna work regardless, because the matchup, they don't know who the guard in transition. So I feel like transition is one of our best things.
Yeah, and as somebody who like does also serve as the rim runner,
yeah,
do you find like a little bit extra like joy or like pressure to be like, I got to reward these guys, because I know what it's like if I run the rim and I don't get the ball, like, so does that kind of go into it?
Yeah, like I said, me and him, 21, we had a great, team chemistry. That was my roommate on a away trip, so we always talked the game before the games happened. So, just the small things, just knowing what we do well. He likes to shoot it too, so off pops, hit him on pops, whatever the situation is, just I feel like team chemistry is definitely a big part of it, and I knew what my guys like to do, and I feel like they knew what I like to do.
Now, the other thing, obviously we see how versatile you are in transition. I think that in the half court, there's a lot of things that translate to the way that, the modern game is played. And we see little, like zoom action here. And again, simple, right? Like this is nothing too crazy, but it's an efficient form of offense. And we'll see all the different ways that, you can counter stuff like this. So what are you trying to do in these kind of actions on the perimeter? And, when you are setting a screen versus when maybe you're going to slip it, all the little nuances that goes into something like this.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's just patience. It's crazy, because beginning of the season, coaches, when I used to get at the elbow, I used to just take off and try to be my matchup. But, sometimes if, like you see some guys are doing in the middle of split actions, like I got to be patient. So I feel like patience, working on that in practice was one of the best things that happened, and opened up the floor for me and for other guys. So once I understood that, it made the game very simple. Like you see, I like to make the simple plays, simple reads. So that's what helped me a lot, just being patient.
Again, I love when you get the ball in these scenarios here, because of the unpredictability it brings. And, you see like the read and react, right? Like, obviously, a very similar set, but they're not coming off the DHO here. And now we see more of that passing ability this time in hitting cutters. So what kind of goes into that? Because it's a lot of guys struggle with like ball placement on where to throw the ball to the cutter, the timing aspect of it. So, is this something that has always been natural to you because you had those guard skills, or is this something you kind of had to practice and work at?
No, I've always had those guard skills. You can see it in practice films from all my college games or college practices or, games. Even in high school, I had, these passes. So, it's just something I've always had with me. It's crazy. So when I got to SF, the first 2 games, I think it was, I kind of threw like a pass like this, like a backdoor pass, something like that. And then I remember after the game in the interview, they was like, man, where do you know how to pass like that? And I laughed because I was like, I've always known how to pass like this. So it was just like, I've always had it.
Yeah.
It's just always been a part of my bag, just being an all-around good player.
Are there any guys in the NBA now that you watch that you kind of think you could play similarly to?
Mhm. I don't try to really like pick one person or like model my game after people in the NBA. I feel like like you said, I'm a unique person, but I definitely pick parts of a lot of the guys. Man, Draymond, his
Mhm.
passing, his energy and everything. Scotty Barnes, like big guard,
Mm,
he could do the same thing a lot. Passing, just being that big guard. Nas Reed too.
mm.
Just being a mismatch for people. PJ Washington a little bit. Just being like a really good role player. I feel like he knows his role and he does his role really well. Who else? I mean, those are the main guys I really watch. But there's a lot of people in the NBA I can take pieces from.
I think that's a great list. And
Mhm.
Scotty Barnes, you actually have like pretty similar measurements from when he measured at the combine and when you did, both about 6'7", 7'2" wingspans. And you see the similarities in your games too. Tari Eason, another guy, similar,
Mhm.
physically. But yeah, Nas Reed, like the energy he brought, right? Like
Yeah.
he could pass it a little bit. And when you talk about Draymond a little bit, it feels like Draymond kind of made these plays popular nowadays.
Mhm.
And because of the way that you're able to pass, did you feel like guys were tagging you high in these little short
Yeah.
roll situations?
Yeah, short roll, it depends because I mean, if they tag me high on a short roll, I mean, I made sure like I got it because now they're in rotation. So, we always practice, making that short roll pass because it brings guys into rotation. Whether if not, if they step up, if they don't step up, because if they don't step up, it's either a dunk or a touch shot floater or a mid range. If they do step up, either take my time, be patient with it, read the rotations. If they don't rotate over, blow past them, now it's a one-on-one. So, just reading it and slowing the game down, definitely short passes were definitely really a factor in my game.
Yeah, and it seems like on this possession here, because the teams are worried about you as a passer,
Hmm.
it kind of just allows you a clear lane to the rim
Hmm.
and two hand cock that thing back. But
Yeah.
when we talk about now, like how you could pass out of it, right?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, this is why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's that processing, that quick read. What are you looking at here that you're able to process this so quickly?
I'm looking at my shooter, Lil B's right there, man. Just knowing who's on the floor, knowing guys' strengths. He's a great catch and shoot shooter. So, just giving him confidence. I think that was his first bucket of the game. So, just going into it, getting all my teammates involved because, just because I don't want to force that. I got to make the right read, it's simple passes, and he was wide open. I believed in him to make the shot.
Yeah, and again, there's like a lot of nuance in this too because when you slip it, that one dribble right there,
Yep.
right? Like it kind of opens up. We have it paused here. That the guy who's covering two here.
Mhm.
Now he kind of has to. He thinks maybe you're going corner, and that opens that
Yeah.
up. And I like the point guard's mindset where that's his first shot, get him going. Right. That's that.
Mhm.
Those are those guard skills. And now we see another one. Take me through this one. The setup's a little bit different because you got somebody in the dunker spot.
Yeah. So I mean, now in the dunker spot, the tag, you got to read the tag now. So the guy in the corner, he has to tag. So now since the guy in the corner tagged, no one's guarding the corner. So now another shooter, Malik Thomas, my boy, wide open knockdown shooter. So I just got faith in my teammates. I trust them. I don't want to make the overcomplicated play. That was a simple play and that was the right read.
Now, take me through this one here. You
Mhm.
mentioned earlier that like early in the year sometimes you might rush a little bit. So,
Mhm.
uh, what would you do, differently as you went on through the year in a similar situation like this?
Yeah, like you said, this was I think one of our first couple games of the season. Like I said, you can see that I rushed it. As soon as I got it, I went left and tried to bump, and even though I was off balance, I still shot it. So just those small plays, those are the ones that look bad. My coach used to always get on my head about that, and I used to never really think it was a bad like shot or something. But going back and film, going in his office and watching it, just seeing how rushed it was, I just learned from that. That was the biggest thing. Just learn from it. Accept coaching. So I feel like he was
Mm.
definitely right, and like you said, going back and seeing this, you can definitely see it was a rush.
You went to the combine. I'm sure you interviewed with teams, and I'm sure the thing that teams asked you about the most, from your game is, your shooting. I think you only took 2 threes. One of them was like a half court heave. The other one was like a grenade, at the end of the shot clock. So, I've seen videos, from the combine, I think from your pro day, knocking down shots, clean. Where are you at? Where do you think you're at with your shooting? And do you think that could be, a part of your game at the next level?
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because, hearing that I was a guard before, the forward, everything, my role on my travel team was literally just to shoot, like corner shots, be that shooter that's ready to catch and shoot and play defense. So, it's crazy, if you look back to see that. But, just over the years, going into college, I feel like, my freshman year, that's what kind of really messed me up. I wasn't really allowed to shoot threes at my freshman year. So, it was just a mental thing, just continue to work on it. Sophomore year, I ended up shooting a couple threes at NEO. I think I shot 33%. So, it was just, now I felt like I got my groove back a little bit, get my confidence back. I didn't necessarily lose it, but, just had it stored somewhere. So then Missouri State, went back into that box, that was on my role. So didn't do that there. SF, they talked about it. We talked about it, just working my way back up there. At Missouri State, I shot 44% from the free throw line. Ended up at USF, shot 70%. So, it was just small things, working my way back up to that three ball. That's what we're working on this whole pre-draft process with my trainer, Corey Frazier at OTE. So, just getting my mechanics right, just working my way back up there. And I feel like, I did a great job and I'm doing a great job now. And, my confidence is great now. I'm shooting in workouts, just shooting it, being ready to shoot, whether it's live play, shooting drills, just being ready to shoot, because it's going to help me a lot in the next level, because I can do what I can do now. But, if I have my, consistent 1, 2, 3, or like a 1, 2, threes a game, it's just going to boost my, potential and everything. So I feel like it's definitely gotten better, and, I'm ready now for the next level. And I feel like it's going to be great the next level.
So closing out your offense, the other thing that you're really good at is, making the hustle plays, giving the extra efforts. So, I mean, talk me through like, the motor stuff, like just being high energy, high effort, and merging that. Obviously you're athletic, and so when you merge the two, it makes you really tough to stop down there. But take me through like the hustle, the motor stuff, and what that brings to your team.
Just going through this basketball phase, everyone said your motor is going to separate you from everyone else. So just keeping that with me, definitely has helped me along the way. So I feel like every game always had to have a motor. Whether it's offensively getting the board, defensively getting the board, hustle plays, like you said, just doing more, doing extra. I feel like, that was one thing I had to do at SF, just I didn't want to just be normal. I don't want to be average. I wanted to be great. So, just those little plays, stood out. That's what, I have a part of my game, my high motor, and I feel like it separates me from a lot of guys.
So now I want to, switch over to your defense because, just as versatile as you are on offense, I think we see that on the defensive end too. And, I think you're really good at turning defense into offense. And, using your athletic tools, your wingspan here on this possession to turn defense into offense. So when you're kind of reading the passing lanes, what are the things you're kind of looking for?
I'm looking at the ball handler's eyes, obviously, and watching my man too. But, and the ball pressure that, like you can see Marcus Williams had on the ball, just, makes it harder for the defender or for the offensive guy to see the court. And, sometimes, I don't know, people like to say this a lot, but I like to, it looks like I'm not playing defense, but I am playing defense. And then, I anticipate the pass and then get the steal. So, just kind of like shocking my defender, being that, low-key guy and then sneaking out, just being different every time, switching it up. I don't want to be a robot, not just offensively, but also defensively too. So, you never know what guys do. So, just being smart about it.
And then the other thing that I honestly, I think we could even see, maybe more often at the next level is, your weak side shot blocking. And again, your standing reach, your athleticism, your bounce, all that. Take me through this when you're kind of, protecting the rim. What are the things that you're trying to read, look at on the floor?
Mm-hmm. I like to wait a little bit. Sometimes I might, being a shot blocker, it's like 50-50, a little bit sometimes. So sometimes I like to wait for the defender to go up off the two, or, if he's about to shoot it, and then time it. Timing is definitely one of the important things when it comes to being a shot blocker or having the ability to shot block is timing, just reading what the ball handler is doing. So, I don't want to overcommit and then, he makes a dump off pass or something like that. So just timing it,
right,
where he can't make another decision or he has to shoot it. So, just timing is definitely important. So I feel like, I timed it well. This possession, timed a lot of them sometimes.
Now, when you're somebody, obviously the versatility extends that, you're going to have all these off ball stuff, but then guarding the ball, you're going to be tasked with, guarding the post. You'll be tasked with guarding the perimeter. Now, as somebody who, you're 6'7", but, maybe you're a little undersized if you have to guard, a Joel Embiid or, a Jokic or something. So if you're in one of those scenarios and you're guarding a guy who you're giving up size a little bit to, what are the kind of things that you're trying to do guarding them in the post?
Fast feet, since they're bigger than me, I had to have faster feet. That's what coaches have been telling me, coming into this year or, in practice or going against big guys, just they're going to be bigger than you. Like you're going to play against a 7-footer that's 240 or 280, whatever, 260 in the case. So what's going to help you in that situation? So, just having the quicker feet, whether it's pull the chair or something, just having that defensive IQ, not just guarding the ball, but not off the ball, but, in the post, just going against a bigger guy because he thinks he has the advantage. So, just having the faster feet, whether I have to get around him faster or send him into help, gap help, just the small things. So just trying to hold my ground. That was probably the main thing, hold my ground too. Don't let him get straight down through my chest. So that was one thing we worked on too.
So we see how you guard in the post, but then the versatility, because I think the modern NBA, like positions are almost like non-existent at this point, right? Like guys are multifaceted, they're skilled, they could do so much. So you're going to be tasked with guarding guards or, whether it's on a switch or just maybe that's your assignment that night because they're trying to take away something with your size and your length. Yeah. What are you trying to do on this possession, against a ball handler who's trying to create a shot?
I like to make when I make switches, I like to make every guard try to shoot over me. That's the best thing for me to do. Can't make them just get an easy layup. I don't want them driving into help side or driving into the paint and then someone rotates and end up getting a foul. So the whole point is to keep my man in front of me and make him shoot over me. So I feel like because I'll have a high contest, and the chances won't really be high for him making that shot. So just making every switch and the guard try to shoot over me, because I think I had some clips this year or some possessions this year where I blocked actually a shot, someone tried to shoot over me. So, that was the main thing, just making my defender shoot over me.
Then this possession, I think this shows off everything that you're capable of here. And when you are, closing out similarly, right? So like close out a little bit short there, you're kind of containing drives and then again, using that length, forcing that shot. I mean, you're everywhere on this possession. Take me through this. What are you trying to do here? You're going side to side of the whole court.
Trying to stop guys from, making that next quick pass to their rotation, trying to not put our teammates in over rotation. So, just moving a lot, being active, having my hands. That's one thing we teach at SF, being active, messing up guys' visions on the court, what they see. So, like you said, long, lengthy, just messing up guys' court vision a little bit, throwing them off. So that was like main thing, and if I do that, that gives my teammates a half a second to get back in rotation, whatever. So, just being active on defense, having my hand and everything.
Yeah, man. And the ground, like I said, the ground coverage is crazy on this. And like ground coverage is kind of a buzzy word, for defense now. And you touch almost every part of the court outside of the paint. and the only reason is because you're containing all of their drives. So I think that versatility shines through, man. I think that, you know, your unique basketball journey culminating kind of in this era of basketball where players like you can really thrive and you can really find a role, and you can really bring that unique aspect to a team, and maybe that gives a team an edge. So you know, in talking to teams, I'm sure you've had to do this, but if I was an executive for an NBA team and I asked you to sell me on Jonathan Mogbo, why should my franchise invest in you for the long term?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know, I just make the right reads. You know, I bring winning basketball. You know, I'm very competitive, energy guy. You know, teams need energy. You know, I feel like I'm very versatile and I can adapt to a lot of situations. You know, whether it's a certain role, a certain city, you know, just small stuff. I feel like I can be put in a lot of positions on the court and still have a productive effect on it. Like you said, plus minuses, you know, been great, you know, over my college career. So, you know, it tells you, you know, I can do a lot of great things on the court, you know, whether if I'm off the ball, on the ball, in the corner, you know, whether if I'm playing out of the corner, you know, go get a second chance point, you know, just being ready to shoot, catch and shoot, you know, because I got to start my way from the corner and work my way up to, you know, be able to space the floor. So, you know, just everything. I feel like I can make, you know, my playmaking ability, you know, just giving great energy on the court. You know, like I said, you know, making the right plays, hustle plays, you know, just reading the game, having a great IQ for the game, a great feel. I feel like my feel, you know, separates me from a lot of guys. You know, just knowing how to win. You know, just that's a very important factor. I mean, I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't really know how to win, but I feel like, you know, I can do a lot of things on the court to help us win. So I feel like that's why, you know, a team should invest in me for sure.
Jonathan, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. I know this has got to be a whirlwind right now, from training to travel to all of that goes into it. So, you know, the fact that you took the time to chop it up on the No Ceilings platform means a lot. So thanks for having me, and good luck with the rest of the process.
I appreciate you guys for having me, man. It's a blessing. Appreciate that for sure.